method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades. While the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux, to this day the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes way before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can. And with the street lights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never care for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to This Week in Pro Wrestling, hosted by Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh. This is our 3rd installment, Pharaoh, where we cover This Week in Pro Wrestling.
Oh, we made it 3 to 3. Oh, very good.
Have you been enjoying your little run here on This Week in Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Extra kibitz. Kibitz is blabbing and yakking and meaningful conversation in Jewish stuff.
By the way, if anyone didn't
Kibitz.
know it, Pharaoh was bitching at me about the intro video because there's like a little
here we
glitch in
go.
there that needs to be fixed.
Here we freaking go.
And he's like, "Did you get that fixed yet?" I'm like, not yet."
What,
He's
you
like,
guys
when
don't-
do you think you're going to get it fixed?
You guys don't enjoy, sound cutting out? Wait a minute. It's like the old days, like you said.
That's right. It's like
Watch-
old cable.
Right.
That was the idea behind it.
That was the idea behind it? Like, oh, you meant to do that.
That's
huh?
right.
Wow,
That's
you are
right.
clever.
That's
Very
right.
good. All
That's
right, here we are, folks. Back
But I
again.
guess it's just not good enough, and I guess we're going to have to fix it because we don't do old school here.
Oh, he's easy to please, too. Never mind. What do you got?
So anyway, it
What
looks
do you
like
got?
Dark
What do you
Side of the Ring has really brought attention to Nick Gage.
Man.
I knew very little about this guy.
Okay.
Okay. The first, again, I'm not versed in every wrestling organization, independent like some of these other people.
Not a prerequisite for what we do.
I
Go on.
understand, but you
on.
listen to some of these smarkies on there, and it's like they know everything. In 1982,
I can't.
Nikita Koloff took a shit in his pants,
He
in
did?
front of 50,000 people in the Atlanta Omni.
Yeah, but the real question is what was the brand of the toilet paper he used in the outhouse? I mean, what was it? If you're a true smart, you'll know that.
Well, but I guess my point. I actually, I mean, look, I don't want to ruin the show, so but
too late.
I actually heard a podcast. I was, because again, I work very early, so I just put it in the background and I listen.
You work very late too.
And
but
sometimes
go
I listen to music, and sometimes I choose any wrestling podcast. And I heard this guy
sure
telling
do.
a story. They were going over the Great American Bash of
Okay.
1992.
on. Ooh. Okay.
And one of the guys said, "I think so and so fought so and so," and the other guy's like, "No, correction." Correction there. That wasn't the case. It was Johnny Joe. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, who really gives a shit?
But what I really want to know is did the other guy pull out a glove and slap him across the face and I challenge you to a duel? I mean, what is this correction?
But anyway,
Correction.
back to Nick Gage. My first sighting of Nick Gage was
Yeah.
I was watching the David Arquette documentary. You Cannot Kill David Arquette.
How was that?
It's not bad. It's not great.
He does nothing for me. You know that, right?
I
David
think
Arquette is a big void
It's
to me.
it's not a bad watch, but he ends up. He wants to be a wrestler, and he ends up going into like this backyard wrestling match. And guess who he's got? Nick Gage, right?
I do respect that David Arquette has put his heart and soul into it. He does nothing.
Just does
me.
nothing for you.
Okay, but go on. So he fought Nick Gage.
So coming off
Ow.
that, I felt compelled
ow.
to sit and watch on YouTube last week Nick Gage against Matt Cardona.
Right.
And I got to tell you,
You mean Zack Ryder? I just want to make sure. You're talking about Zack Ryder, right?
Same person.
Oh, no, he's Matt Cardona now. Boy, it does sound more badass. All right, go on. So, Cardona.
actually, I was entertained. I was entertained by the fans because these fans are, for whatever reason, are just off the hook for this shit. All right,
Okay,
and
that's cool. That's what they're into.
the wrestling
That's cool.
wasn't. It was very staged. Again, very staged and very campy.
Campy.
Very slow.
Well,
Is another word. Very slow on how they do things. Like
Right.
so, at one point, Nick Gage is like going to win the match, and these guys in sweatsuits come in and they want to fight Nick Gage, and Nick Gage is fighting him. Then Cardona hits him from behind and wins the match with his finisher. But these moves, like Gage,
Yeah.
first of all, very slow wrestler. Like can't wrestle. I'm sorry.
Brawler. Yes. Okay. Go on.
Anyway, the point is,
Slow.
I was entertained. by it.
Did Cardona carry him at all during the match? I mean, like you say, he's slow. So, I mean,
Wow.
was it Cardona, or were they just a good chemistry fit for them? You said you were
But
entertained.
I don't want
What
to.
was it?
I don't want to say chemistry because when you look, I'm not this
That's-
catch
They're killing
can
each other
wrestling match
with weapons.
right?
Yeah, all
But
right.
not even that. It was like very
Still
just
chemistry,
everything
though.
was very choreographed. And you could
Oh,
tell it's
you could
choreographed.
see how
but it's
because of
okay. The fans are just like they just want to see people hit with light bulbs
Oh.
and cut with a pizza cutter.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Right. I do know what you mean. I got to admit. That's
But
not,
it was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. The
That's
fans,
cool.
again, the fans make the match, right? They're all
sure.
into it, right?
Sometimes the fans ruin a match, too.
Did you know
It
anything?
goes both
Did you
ways.
know anything about Gage at all? I know you are much more versed than I am. So
I've known about Nick Gage taking the New Jack sort of highway as far as how he goes about his business, but I got to be honest. I'm going to be very honest. New Jack to me is the template for this sort of thing. That's just my personal opinion, but I've always felt that a guy like New Jack, really, you could call it a death match, call it whatever you want. The bottom line is you're using implements of destruction to tear somebody apart.
Right.
So if you want to get all smarky on me that New Jack was this kind of violent wrestler and he's this I don't want to hear it. It is what it is. The template is New Jack, all right? I wonder what New Jack thought of Nick Gage. What I would give right now to, number one, have New Jack alive and here with us like he's been in the past. But number two, I would love to ask him, what do you think of Nick Gage? Because I can almost hear him.
well,
Get the, I can almost, I could be wrong, but...
Was deathmatch wrestling around before ECW?
Combat Zone came around, I do believe, a little bit after, but
Would
I
you
think it was a
consider Terry
spin-off.
Funk, Cactus Jack deathmatch wrestling back in the 90s or 80s?
Deathmatch is, to me, comes even after ECW in some ways. I do believe Combat Zone, if you look up and you look at the old Combat Zone, and I understand it's a small promotion,
Right.
but a lot of fans probably know who I'm talking about. They were in Jersey, no less. They're our neighbors, Combat Zone Wrestling, with DJ Hyde, I believe. That's some violent stuff, and it was way beyond ECW. So I think it kind of was built from that. When I think of Terry Funk and Cactus Jack, I think of a hardcore match or an alley fight or something that's brutal, but I don't think you're going to be seeing cheese graters going across the guy's skull or, you understand what I'm saying? But I will say this about Nick Gage. Right now, he's on top of that style. And that's why he's on AEW, and that's why you were interested in him. So there is something going on with that guy. And by the way, to me, for you Sons of Anarchy fans, if you just put some hair on Nick Gage, he's clay. For those folks who watch Sons of Anarchy, he's clay. I mean, this guy's got the jawbone that just, how some guys just look mean. He just looks mean. He's not the biggest guy. That's easy for you to think. Of course, you're a big dude, and he's not Hogan size or anything like that. But look at his face. This guy's clearly mean. As far as his promo stuff goes, I'm not impressed. I don't think he's the greatest talker, and everything with him's an
Well,
F-bomb.
you know, it's so funny.
So I'm really not that impressed
I got to
with
tell you,
that.
it's funny. I was thinking to
But
myself,
he
'cause
is on top of what he's doing.
He's from New Jersey, and
Yeah.
it reminded me of a time about a year ago. His agent reached out to us and wanted to have him on.
Are you serious?
Yes.
This is news to the Pharaoh. What?
So
I would have been like, sure.
So
why not?
I looked. That's how I got into David
Wait a
Arquette
minute. He didn't want to hit me with a cheese grater. Is that why
The
you
point
kept
of
him
the
away?
matter is, I basically said
Yeah.
to myself, I didn't say it to the agent. It was like,
Okay.
what do I need this indie guy on
Interesting.
here for? That I don't.
Well, that's
even
one
know.
thing. Okay.
Okay.
Got to add to that.
And and nor did I really care to know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's funny. So when Dark Side of the Ring was coming on with their documentary on him,
Were you surprised?
I was shocked. I was
There
like,
you go.
this guy, because I remembered the
Right.
call about him trying to
Right.
come on the show.
Right.
So I was like, what? And then I watched the documentary. Which,
Interesting dude. Got to give
well,
him that.
first of all,
He's
again,
you watched
guy's
it.
got a lot of problems.
Yeah, man.
All right, and he's
Yeah.
fought through a lot of problems. He almost
Yes.
died in the ring. Look, obviously
Absolutely.
loves what he does.
And by the way, the first time I ever saw John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, I saw him in Combat Zone Wrestling. So,
Okay.
so is it any shock that Moxley's been,
Well,
you know,
I'm not a fan of Moxley, right?
right? Mm-hmm.
But Moxley can wrestle.
Hell's yeah.
This guy can't wrestle.
He's a brawl. He's just your.
He has
he's a,
no
he's a
mic
brawler.
skills. He
I don't.
does
Yeah,
no
I'm
mic
not,
skills.
I'm not big on the mic
So this
skills.
is a guy. This is what I think. If I had to make a quick analysis before we continue on, is that this is a guy who couldn't be a wrestler. So said, "I'll do the next."
Wait,
best
you
thing.
mean like
I'll
a Rey
just have
Mysterio
someone-"
or even a Bob Backlund?
How
Is that-
about-
just
when you're-
show me a repertoire of good moves? Is that what
All
you're
right,
getting
so
at, right?
I guess today's society is wrestling sports entertainment to the Pharaoh.
Today's wrestling.
No, in general,
Depends
has wrestling
on-
always been sports entertainment, or was it?
Wow, that's
Wrestling.
that's an interesting. You know what? It was never wrestling to me,
Right.
but it was pro wrestling
Okay.
to me because you know what days I started out with. I started out with Bruno into Bob Backlund, and before everything became a show where it was kind of about the characters, but it was also about what happened in the ring more so than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Well, how about that? But look,
still a sport to me first. It's always going to be that way. I'm a romantic towards the sports side of pro wrestling, but I absolutely love the entertainment aspect, and I would never want it changed. Okay? Let's make that very clear to the audience at home. I love the sport of wrestling, but the entertainment... Look, my favorite wrestler of all time is Hulk Hogan, okay? But I can appreciate a great scientific match just like anybody else, if not...
well, they're all
you know.
married together.
Yeah, they
Right?
are.
They're
to
all
me.
married together.
A great company has a little bit of everything, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
I
In my
agree.
opinion, you got to have it. And you know what? Vince has done it over the years plenty of times. I mean, look at after Hogan. Bret Hart, what a great in-ring wrestler.
Sure.
What, Vince didn't make him one of the faces of his company eternally? You know, so he went from the greatest entertainer of all time to the excellence of execution. Oh, yeah, he doesn't get it, right? He gets it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It depends on the time period. It really does, and who he's got and who he feels has it. Same with any other company.
So is it wrong for me to say that Gage is a guy that didn't have the athletic ability?
It's fair to say
Certainly
he's not.
doesn't have
he's not
these-
RVD.
Doesn't
no
seem
doubt.
to have the social skills.
Hell, he's
that-
not Triple H. Go
well,
on.
He doesn't seem to have the social skills even to
the
like-
promo skills? No, I don't think he's.
I'm
a
even
great
talking
promo.
about basic social skills, dude.
That I can't say.
I mean,
you
listen,
watched the
I'm not
documentary.
trying to disrespect. No, but I've also seen
I
him on
can't
interviews
say,
because
you know,
his
that I haven't
because I
done
keep
much
thinking
of
to
either.
myself, wow, this guy must
know?
really love it because he just gets his ass whipped. Mm-hmm. But I
he
mean,
does some ass whipping too.
no, but you know what I mean,
Ow.
right? But
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
The guy
I
sounds
do.
like a stuttering moron.
Does he? I can't.
He
I'm gonna
does.
have to. I'm gonna have to go do some investigating into it. You know what? I'll take your word for it because you certainly have watched him enough. You saw the documentary. You've seen the interviews.
So
with him.
anyway, Tony Khan, AEW. And there's a lot of Nick Gage fans out there. Don't get me wrong. He just
Okay.
doesn't sound like
Yeah,
a
I do
very
wonder how
intelligent
big his
person.
audience
Who
is.
knows?
I
He
do
might be
wonder.
an intelligent. It's not fair for me to say he's not intelligent, okay? Because he might be.
Well, I'm not intelligent, so yeah, and you hang out with me, so he's got a shot.
I guess so.
Wait a minute. Go on.
So
All right,
AEW brings in Nick Gage to wrestle your favorite, or one of your top three favorites, Mr. Chris Jericho, in a
One of my
no-rules
favorites
match on Dynamite for Fight for the Fallen. Jericho passed part 2 of the 5 as he looks for a future match
What is this?
against
A
MJF.
gauntlet? The winner gets to face MJF. Boy, that's mighty big of MJF.
Well, first of all, I don't want to. I want to say
Everybody kill each other to fight me.
I'm not a
Wow.
huge AEW fan.
Yeah.
but
You gotta like this.
I had to watch that match.
You gotta like this gauntlet thing, right? Imagine if
Oh, I love
Morocco had done this. You want to fight me? You
I
got to
love
go
it.
through 5 rounds.
I love it.
I
love
think
it.
it's so arrogant. I love it too. I think it's a great idea. That's great. What? So how was the? So how did Jericho do with Gage? How was that compared to the Cardona deal?
So,
Because I have seen that. I've seen that.
as being a fair and honest wrestling fan,
Yeah.
okay, not pro WWE,
What a
not pro
bloodbath.
AEW.
Yeah.
I thought if this was a WWE match, fans would have shredded this. This was
It never would have been.
Jericho did all he could
Mm-hmm.
in his 50-year-old body
I'm amazed at him.
to try to carry this guy,
I'm
and it
amazed.
must be a sign of respect, right? Like
Absolutely.
You know? But
The
this guy,
locker room must
you
adore
could see, but
Chris's
you know,
work ethic.
I was
Oh, my
thinking about
God.
you. I was thinking
Yeah.
about here's the minor league. Like this is legitimately. This is why this guy's really an indie guy, and this is a pro. Like
Jericho's
this is
Jericho.
a pro,
Yeah.
dude. I'm
Jericho's
sorry
Jericho.
if it was anybody that's in the main roster in AEW
Mm-hmm.
against this guy. It's smart to put Jericho against him because Jericho at least could guide him. You could see Jericho guiding him through the match.
Yeah.
It was so blatant.
Interesting,
And
yeah.
you know, the script was this. All right, we know you can't wrestle. They probably didn't say this to him. No, you can't wrestle. So just do your shtick where you go to the ropes and you look to the fans and you show them your next weapon you're
Right.
going to use in the
Right.
fight.
I got you.
And then I'm thinking to myself, he pulls out a pizza cutter. The beginning of the match, he's got it. He's waving it like a knife.
I hope he's not going to Farmingdale. They serve poison there. Anyway, go on.
He always got to bring that up.
What? Go on.
He's waving it like a knife.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, why don't you just pull out a knife? Why even use a pizza cutter?
Right.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you're bringing in.
Right.
It doesn't say the rules have
Right.
a pizza cutter and light bulbs. It's like use what you want.
You should just break out a 45.
Break out a 45.
Why? Oh, I forgot to load it.
But to you, isn't that a stupid
Listen,
concept
it's
of a match?
yeah. I'm not. You know, I'll drive home the point. When I first discovered Combat Zone Wrestling, it was coming off the heels of my days with ECW. You know that was my favorite company
Absolutely.
back then, right?
Yep.
So I watched a couple of Combat Zone pay-per-views, and I did enjoy some aspects of it, but I got to admit, I kind of got sick of it real fast. It wasn't something I can watch all the time, and it turned out to be something I almost never watched ever again. And that's basically the deal.
Because
you
if
know?
you have too many gimmick matches, you gimmick your way out of the whole.
And I'll tell you what, too. I mean, listen, we witnessed the entire careers, basically, of Mick Foley and New Jack. You got a real high bar to break there, son. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so go ahead, pull out your chainsaws, pull out your toasters, pull out your speedboat, pull out your, back in the day, Fisher-Price lawnmower. But that was actually original when New Jack did. He pulled out a Fisher-Price
Yeah,
lawnmower.
absolutely.
That's just hilarious, you know, but the bar is set mighty high. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Let me ask you, back in the day with ECW with New Jack, right? Clearly a gimmick wrestler. also.
Absolutely. God,
Did
we
they
loved
ever
him, though.
put him in like a title match against like a Rob Van Dam?
You know,
or-
if they did, I don't recall it. Maybe they did it on a house show or something, but I don't recall it.
So he always just gimmicked his way through all the time.
Yeah, he was either like a tag champ, which
Right.
was amazing with Mustafa, just amazing.
Who, by the
And-
way, is in next Thursday.
yes, absolutely amazing. And he was usually doing the gimmick thing where he could come out with a shopping cart full of stuff. It was just incredible. It was great, and the music would blast during the entire match. That was another thing that separated him. No one was doing that. Hit the music, played through the whole match. That was amazing.
I'm going to give Tony Khan and AEW props.
I would.
Bringing in these wrestlers.
I would.
You know what? They're going to do well this week. Now, again,
Sure.
sooner or later, the Rooster's going to come home, right?
Right.
Because you're
Right.
gimmicking your way out of this. But for the time being, here you go.
How about that, though, real fast?
So after the match, MJF got to the mic and told Jericho his next match will be against Juventud Guerrero.
Dude, I'm shocked.
shocked, really?
First of all, Hoovy is a very, very underrated guy from those days, man. Juventud Guerrero
Well,
was.
you remember the feud Jericho and him used to have all, right?
I feel like he gets a little underrated. I thought Juventud Guerrero was great. What do I know? I thought he was great.
Right,
He had a
right.
great look. He was sassy.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Absolutely,
Like the
yeah.
way he came across, so sassy. He was
Absolutely.
an excellent wrestler. I wonder what he had been up to lately, and all of a sudden, kaboom! We're gonna get Hoovy versus Jericho. Dude, I'm watching.
I got to watch
I'm
it.
going to watch, and that's all there is to it.
I agree.
I mean, my lord. And real quick, too, The Gage, like you said, if this ever happened in WWE, the Gage Jericho match would never happen in WWE. Vince would never have a bloodbath thing like that. Not like that.
You know, again,
Never.
I think
Never,
we spoke,
never.
I spoke earlier. I
You
think
know?
the blood that AEW is spilling right now is egregious, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
Like, Jericho couldn't wait to cut himself. It was like, oh my God, I gotta cut myself. It's like,
he's so great,
do you remember
though.
when you used to
Oh, my
watch the
God,
match and
he's
then
so
finally
great.
the guy would just take a shot and all of a sudden he was bleeding?
Right, because the
Now-
match was building, and then there was
Yes.
that fatal
Yes.
blow, and then he would come up, and the whole crowd would gasp. And you see the blood coming
see the
down.
juice?
Dude,
Yeah,
one of the greatest
yeah.
ones, and people were complaining when it was happening, but it was pretty freaking awesome to be at, was when Lesnar beat Randy into a bloody pulp.
Yeah.
The whole crowd gasped. They were like, when they saw the pouring, because it was pouring. I mean, that was a great shock factor. It's how you do the blood, when you do the blood, and you're right, it is egregious. Way too much.
And dude, seriously, I mean, congratulations, Nick Gage, for making it into one of the major
Absolutely,
feds.
and that match was insane.
And
bro.
you know what?
That was insane.
This certainly will help his career. Maybe,
Of course.
And maybe Tony Khan opened up his deep pockets and gave him a couple of $100,000. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
The way Tony Khan's been shelling out, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, he's been shelling out quite a bit.
I know we're AEW heavy. WWE Raw July 26 episode viewership and ratings revealed with Charlotte Flair in the main event. 1.8 million, down 6%. So before we sign off, I'm going to let you discuss what you've been saying to me for the longest time.
What's
I'm a
that?
huge women's wrestling fan.
Yes, you are.
And you've always said they have their place.
Oh, that's
Not,
really...
not that way. Not that way.
Boy, do I feel like
They
Ralph
have their
Crampton.
place.
Go on.
You said they had their place in wrestling, but
Yeah.
you're pushing them too much.
Yes.
Is the possibility the problem now is the reason the ratings are down because of the pushing of the women's wrestling, which I love, but the real fans, the super fans like yourself, the AEW, you notice AEW really doesn't push their women the same, right? I'm gonna have to give you kudos. Maybe you're probably hitting it. On the
Yep,
head.
I don't think that it helps. I really don't. And yes, there is saying it is a place sounds really rough. So I'll say that there's an appropriate spot in the card always for the ladies if it's placed correctly, and that's my take on that. I couldn't stand the what do they call that pay-per-view you went to, please?
Revolution.
The Revolution. I couldn't stand
loved
that.
it.
I felt like it was being forced down my throat. I was like, stop it. Please stop it. I am not interested in seeing Tamina wrestle every week.
Understood.
And man, oh man, did I love her father. My God, but I don't want to see Tamina every week and Natalia versus whoever. I'm bored beyond tears.
I'm
put
starting to-
Naomi with the tribal family now and make her evil. Do something interesting because she bores the piss out of me.
Right.
Please stop. I mean, it doesn't work for me, and I do think it hurts the product overall.
Well,
It's
I'm
too
gonna have to
much,
agree
and
with
it's
you.
been too much.
Seems like I pretty much
know?
don't know what I'm talking about.
No, you know what you're talking about plenty, but
Anti-AEW,
on this
you know.
one, you just love the women a lot more than the average fan, I believe, and that's fine. That's fine. I just don't think there's a big spot for them. That's
Well,
bottom line.
Good episode 3. I hope the fans enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Good conversation,
Yeah.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
enjoy it. Thoughts?
Once again, back. You're gonna have to fix that intro, though, man. You gotta fix the intro. You did ask my thoughts,
I might put static in it.
You know what? That would actually be kind of cool. I think that would
I'll
work.
work on that.
All right, fair enough.
Tell us out there, fans. You like our intro?
I like the song.
There you go.
Being impartial.
Of course. All right, we'll see
I
you
love the
next week.
intro.
Don't forget to
Hey.
catch Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast every Thursday from 9 to 10 p.m. And you can catch this show every Friday at 7:30, right before SmackDown. Or 7:30, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
7 or 7:30?
I
7:30, right?
don't have a TV. What the hell are you asking me for?
This show is on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's 7:30 to 8.
Thank
right
you.
before
Thank-
SmackDown.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right,
it's
have
on
a
my
good,
phone.
Good seeing you, everybody. Have a good day.
Later.